So we expected that, because they said it, that as soon as any of the COVID-19 vaccines got full approval from the FDA, the Pentagon would say every military service member has to go and get vaccinated. That is indeed happening. And the Pentagon is mandating the COVID-19 vaccine for the military. The Hill reporting, the U.S. military will move to mandate the vaccine for all service members now that the Pfizer vaccine has full approval from the FDA, the Pentagon's top spokesperson announced Monday. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is, quote, prepared to issue updated guidance requiring all service members to be vaccinated. These efforts ensure the safety of our service members and promote the readiness of our force, not to mention the health and safety of the communities around the country in which we live. A timeline for when service members must receive the shot will be provided in the coming days. The Defense Department is preparing guidance to the force to make the vaccine mandatory, with a timeline to be provided in the coming days. Kirby would not comment on any plans to do the same for the Moderna and J&J vaccines, saying the focus right now is moving forward to implement a mandatory vaccination regimen for Pfizer. I don't want to get ahead of decisions that haven't been made yet. This is interesting in a number of different ways. Will there be service members that try to quit? Now, why do I say try to quit? It's not always that easy to just quit the military. And without going into all the details, depending on what your service status is, you may be signed on for a contract of a certain duration. And you can still get out of it, but there are certain requirements. You either need to become physically unfit or determined to be incompatible with the mission or in some way. So it's not even that easy to just say, I quit. Now, the other, this isn't something to be happy about. The other reality is that there are many people that are in the military because they got sucked in by recruiters in the first place. We know that military recruiters target lower income areas where people may accurately or inaccurately assess their opportunities in the world as not so good. And recruiters are very good at framing a career in the military as the best option, as a great option, and the best shot one might have at making a good living. And so there may be lots of folks who don't want to get vaccinated now, but correctly or incorrectly have assessed that this is really the only shot that they've got at making a good living. Are they really going to quit now or try to quit? It seems very, very unlikely. And at the end of the day, I want to restate that the military already requires a bunch of vaccines. This is just adding one more. Now, with the full FDA approval of the Pfizer vaccine, there's really no difference between this vaccine and others that members of the military get when they join up. You got a bunch of vaccines when you first signed up. Now they've added another that's fully approved, and there's really no reason to say no. It's just the military. This is the way it works. Basically, every military in the world has policies like this. Now, let me address something very specific about the military and vaccines, because two people wrote to me about this. I think it's an interesting sort of anecdote to think about. There are some people saying, this is terrible, and it's just like when during the first Gulf War in the early 90s, troops were given the anthrax vaccine, and it gave many of them what's called Gulf War syndrome. Gulf War syndrome is a cluster of symptoms that includes fatigue, headaches, joint pain, insomnia, dizziness, memory problems, and some others. And the claim that some make is troops were given an experimental anthrax vaccine, and it gave them Gulf War syndrome. The first important thing to mention is it's not actually clear that the anthrax vaccine gave anybody Gulf War syndrome. There is an unexplained cluster of symptoms that many Gulf War service members suffered. It has been speculated about that maybe it was the anthrax vaccine, but it is not proven. That's number one. Number two, the status of the anthrax vaccine in the early 90s and the COVID vaccine today, the Pfizer COVID vaccine today, is completely different. The anthrax vaccine was not even authorized for emergency use in the early 90s. It really was experimental in the real sense of the word. It was used off-label. There was no presidential order, and it was not even authorized by emergency use, never mind full FDA approval. We have today is it's not even emergency use now. based on yesterday's approval. We have a fully approved vaccine, period. And it is not an analogous situation whatsoever. Now, imagine being willing to fight and die for the country, but not to get the vaccine that will better enable you to do that. And I think there's going to be a ton of, I'm not getting that damn vaccine, followed by, actually, you are. Yes, sir, I'm going to get that vaccine. Thank you very much. There's going to be a ton of that. Some people may quit, some people may try to quit, but ultimately, this is just another vaccine on the long list that's required by the military. Now, after the break, we're going to talk about outside of the military, the very long list of mandates and requirements of the vaccine now that it has been fully approved. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is something going on in your community, an organization, your employer, your school, whatever, that now says, now that it's fully approved, you've got to get it? You can let me know on Twitter, where you can find me at @DPackman. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Packman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. It takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft, and it's free. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Packman.